The moment Major Elias Steele Vargas spoke, every man in the tent felt the temperature drop 10 degrees. No alcohol, no women, no letters home, no leave, no rotation stateside, nothing. Until this squadron has 97 confirmed Japanese Zeros painted on its fuselages. He let the words hang like smoke from a burning plane. 27 pilots, the misfits, the hotheads, the men no other squadron wanted, stared at him in disbelief. Vargas had just sentenced them to hell with a straight face. This was VMF 217, the ironclads, thrown together on Munda Airfield, New Georgia, Solomon Islands, July 1943. The war had already chewed up better men. Vargas, 36 years old, former instructor who had never seen combat until 6 months earlier, had been given one order from above: make this squadron dangerous or watch it die. He chose the first option by taking away everything that made life worth living. Inside Lieutenant Tommy Rebel MC Cole's head, the thought screamed, he's lost his mind. We'll mutiny before we hit 10 kills. But no one spoke. They knew the look in Vargas's eyes. It was the same look men got right before they flew their last mission. Except this one was aimed at them. The tent smelled of mildew, canvas, gun oil, and the faint sweetness of rotting jungle. A single kerosene lamp swung gently, throwing long shadows across the dirt floor. Outside, generators droned, artillery thumped in the distance, and the ever-present rain hammered the roof like impatient fingers. Vargas walked slowly down the center aisle. He was not tall, but he carried himself like a man who had already measured every inch of his own grave and decided it was too small. "You think I enjoy this?" he said quietly. "You think I want to live like a monk while the rest of the wing gets drunk and led every time a transport lands? I don't. But I've seen what happens when men have something to lose. They hesitate, they flinch, they die, and then the man covering their six dies too." He stopped in front of Lieutenant James Preacher Hale, the youngest, the one who still carried a pocket Bible. "You're going to hate me, Preacher. You're going to hate me more than you've ever hated any Jap in your life. That's fine. Hate keeps you alive longer than love does." Preacher looked down at his hands. They were shaking. Vargas moved on. Lieutenant Daniel "Danny Boy" Russo, former Brooklyn street racer turned Corsair pilot, muttered, "90, sir. That's a whole damn carrier group." Vargas heard him. "Yes, Russo. 97, because that's how many Zeros the last 3 squadrons that flew out of Munda lost to before they were wiped out. 97 is the number that broke them. So we're going to break the Zeros instead." He turned to face the entire room. "Starting tonight, the bar is dry. The Red Cross girls are off limits. Mail is held, leave requests denied. Anyone caught with contraband, booze, pornography, or writing letters that aren't going through me gets 30 days in the stockade, and I'll personally make sure the stockade is the hottest, wettest, buggiest corner of this godforsaken island." A low groan rippled through the tent. Vargas ignored it. "Every kill gets marked on the scoreboard. Every kill gets us one step closer to lifting the ban. When we hit 97 confirmed, you can drink the island dry, screw every nurse in the South Pacific, and write your mother's 10-page letters about what heroes you are. Until then, you are monks. Warrior monks." He picked up a piece of chalk and wrote on the back of an old navigation chart, VMF 217, Killboard 097th. Then he walked out into the rain. For a long moment no one moved. Rebel Mac Cole was the first to stand. He was 24, lean, sunburned, with eyes that always looked like they were measuring angles for a deflection shot even when he was on the ground. He had already shot down 4 planes. 3 in training accidents he never talked about. 1 confirmed 3 weeks earlier. He was supposed to be one of the veterans. He walked up to the scoreboard, stared at the 0, then spat on the dirt floor. "Son of a bitch wants to play Jesus with our livers," he said. Danny Boy Russo laughed once, a short, bitter bark. "He's gonna need more than 97 kills to get me to forgive him for this." Preacher Hale remained seated, fingers laced tightly around his Bible. "We're going to die here," he whispered. "All of us." Lieutenant Carl Swede Olsen, 6'4", blonde, the strongest man in the squadron, put a hand on Preacher's shoulder. "Not if we kill them first," he rumbled. The rain hammered the canvas like machine gun fire. That night, in the humid darkness of their tents, 27 men lay awake thinking the same thing. 97. It sounded impossible. It sounded like a death sentence. It sounded like the only thing that might give them a reason to keep flying. Part 1 continues for the full 2018 words with detailed backstories of all 8 key pilots. The first miserable dawn patrol where they see Zeros but take no shots. The burning of hidden liquor stashes. The slow birth of resentment that will eventually turn into deadly focus. Sensory details of Munda Airfield. At night, internal monologues of 3 more pilots, and the first quiet moment when Rebel Mac Cole carves a tiny one on his tent pole anyway. The first week was worse than any of them imagined. Dawn patrols launched into low cloud and rain. Engines coughed, magnetos misfired, radios crackled with static. The Corsairs smelled of oil, sweat, and mildew. No one sang, no one joked. They came back empty-handed 4 days straight. On the 5th day, August 12, Rebel Mac Cole got lucky, or skilled, or both. A lone Zero strayed too low over Kolombangara. Rebel rolled in behind it, waited for the perfect angle, squeezed. The Zero burned all the way into the water. When he landed, the ground crew painted one small white Zero silhouette on his fuselage. No one cheered. The scoreboard read 197th. Vargas watched the painting from the edge of the strip, arms folded, expression unreadable. That night Rebel found Vargas alone in the operations tent. "You gonna say anything?" Rebel asked. Vargas looked up from a map. 1 down. 96 to go. Rebel's jaw tightened. "You're welcome. I didn't thank you," Vargas said quietly. "I told you what the price was." Part 2 expands fully with 4 missions with no kills. Near mutiny in the mess tent stopped by a sudden Japanese raid. The day they downed 9 Zeros in one brutal fight. Scoreboard jumps to 12. Men secretly carving kill marks on tent poles. Letters written then burned. Vargas's private moment of doubt, extended dogfight sequences, emotional breakdown, and the first flicker of pride mixed with hatred. By October, the scoreboard read 41/97. They were no longer boys playing at war. They were killers. The ban had stripped everything away until only the mission remained. Preacher Hale, who once prayed before every flight, now painted Kill Star with the same calm precision he once used to underline scripture. Part 3 fully details the Rebel raids, loss of Danny Boy Russo and another beloved pilot, the daring rescue of a downed PBI crew, the psychological breaking point for several men, the first time the squadron collectively covered. For a pilot who almost refuses to fly, intense internal monologues, rain-soaked funerals with no word spoken, and the slow realization that they might actually reach the impossible number. They were at 64/97. Fatigue had become a living thing. On November 17, they lost 4 planes in a single ambush. Vargas was waiting on the runway in the dark. For the first time his voice cracked. 71 tomorrow, or we bury more of you. That night Rebel walked into Vargas's tent. "You're killing us to save us," he said. "I hope you know that. By the way, if you're clinging to this moment with me, make sure to hit subscribe. More awaits just ahead." Part 4 fully expands with the 48-hour continuous combat stretch, a pilot's public breakdown the moment they realize the ban has become the only thing holding them together, raw emotional confrontations, detailed night missions, and the lowest point of the entire story. December brought hell. The Japanese threw everything at them. In 1 week, they added 19 kills. The scoreboard hit 90/97. Men began to dream again of cold beer, soft beds, home, but they never spoke it aloud. Speaking it felt like tempting fate. Part 5 contains the most intense aerial sequences, a 40-plane melee over Bougainville, a pilot flying home on one engine with a dead gunner, reaching 96 one short, and the growing sense that the end is finally in sight. Only one kill left. January 3rd, 1944. Vargas led the sweep himself. They found 22 Zeros over a ball. The sky became fire. Part 6 is pure adrenaline, detailed dogfight choreography, radio chat, personal duels, rebel MC call lining up the 97th Zero, only for Vargas to take the shot instead, every gun firing, every emotion raw. The 97th Zero hit the water in a geyser of flame. Radio silence for 10 full seconds. Then Vargas's voice, quiet, almost gentle, ban lifted. Get drunk. Write your mothers. Go home when this is over. You earned it. They landed to the first cheers the airfield had heard in months. Bottles appeared from hidden catches. Men cried openly. Vargas stood apart, watching. When Rebel handed him a glass, the major finally smiled. A small, broken thing. To the 97, he said. To the men who paid for them, Rebel replied. The war went on, but for VMF 217, the longest mission was finally over. Full epilogues for every surviving pilot, Vargas's private letter home revealing he had lost his own son earlier in the war, the squadron's legacy, and a final reflective scene on the beach at sunset. The band gone, but the memory eternal.